Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, February 4th, and welcome back to the Nick Watkins Show. I'm Nick Watkins. Let's get into it. We have so much to talk about. This is a crazy week for sports. We're going to start with basketball, specifically the trades that have been happening, and there have been so many over the past day since I last uploaded. This is crazy. There's so much stuff that's been happening. We're gonna start with the first major deal that went down. Went down about a full day ago. Jaren Jackson Jr. Triple J traded to the Utah Jazz. If you saw my instant reaction, there's most of my thoughts are still in there. But just to recap, it was a massive deal. Like seven players involved in this deal. Um, nobody really notable aside from Triple J. And also picks were sent to the Grizzlies. Um, I'm just gonna pull up the full thing. Um, where is it? Here we go. So for the Grizzlies, they're not competing right now. And Jaren Jackson Jr. is one of their better players. He's probably their second best player behind John Morant. So they sent him to the Jazz. The picks they got back are really good. I mean, they're Utah's own picks, um, and Utah trying to rebuild right now. Those picks seemingly are going to be pretty high. So for the Grizzlies, at first I was a little bit I didn't think it was the best deal. I thought it favored the Jazz. Instant reaction, but once the nature of the picks was announced and we learned that it was Utah's picks, I think it might be better for the Grizzlies because they're not competing right now. They're trying to move forward with the young core, and they got some good value. Seemingly, they'll get good value out of the picks that they got from Utah. So for the Grizzlies, I've kind of grown to think it's better for Memphis. I still think it's great for Utah though. Although it might be realistically like it might be probably is better for Memphis, but for Utah, it's a little bit of an odd trade. I mean, Utah is not competing. They're actually in a worse spot than the Grizzlies in terms of their record. They gave up a whole bunch. The players other than Triple J, in my opinion, are non-factor. They just role players. Nobody major. But so for Utah, they gave up the picks. They essentially gave up three picks for Jaren Jackson Jr. And if you think of the some of the other deals in terms of picks that have gone down. Mikal Bridges went for five. Gobert, I think, went for five as well. It might have been more than that. Picks, players of lesser value have been traded for more picks than Triple J for three firsts. The thing is, though, the three firsts are very high picks. They're probably going to be top 10 picks. Most of them will be. Um, so that's a lot to give up, but is Triple J worth it? The contract, according to Grant the basketball expert, shout out Grant, is not the best. It's kind of a, overpay. But I think I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how it works out for the Jazz. We'll see if they do anything with it. Time will tell who wins this deal. If the picks turn out to be great, and Triple J plays great for the Jazz, I'd think the Grizzlies would win, but it could go many different ways. The picks could be mediocre or even bad. Triple J could play, not well. It could be not worth it. We'll see, though. I don't think the Jazz are in a position to contend. Definitely not this year. Over the future years, maybe. They have a lot of bigs now. They have Kessler and Markkanen and Triple J. Utah, there's a core coming together. I don't think they would have made this trade if they didn't think they could compete in the future or if they thought they were getting good value. I think this trade could go either way. I think it's good for both sides. But as of right now, Memphis probably won this, but not by a lot. It could go either way. It could be good for both teams. So that's Triple J to the Jazz. The next one, small little trade, Nikola Vucevic to the Celtics. I think this is a trade that It's not the biggest in terms of headline value, but I think this could be a good deal for Boston. I mean, they get Anthony Simons. Anthony Simons goes to the Bulls in addition to a second round pick. This is kind of it's just a small little trade. I got to mention it because it happened. The big trade from yesterday, though, this was two high profile point guards, both playing great basketball. James Harden traded from the Clippers to Cleveland in exchange for Darius Garland and a second rounder from this upcoming draft. Um, wow, this is a big trade. It's not like you're trading a star in Harden for some role players and some picks. You're trading it for a different type of star point guard. I think Harden is probably better, even at this point in his career. But Garland definitely has potential. He's still a younger player, and he's shown he can be good. For Cleveland, though, their backcourt becomes Harden and Mitchell. Um, Harden has playoff experience. He hasn't been the greatest in the playoffs. I mean, he's definitely shown, he's definitely folded in a lot of the recent playoff series and teams that he's been on. But I think I think it is an upgrade, at least for the short term. And the Cavs are trying to win now. And you get a veteran point guard who's playing the best ball he's played since he was a Rocket. I think for right now, I'll say Cleveland. The Clippers are in a weird spot, and with Harden, there's drama everywhere he goes, seemingly. But the Clippers get Garland. That's a player that you can either build around or build with. And not necessarily build around, but he's like a second. Well, he's a point guard, so not necessarily a second option, but he can definitely be good for this team. Clippers are in a weird spot, though. We'll see how that plays out for them. For instance, just for this year, I'd say Cleveland, but we'll have to see how it goes. We'll have to see how Harden plays. That'll also be key. And then the big trade that happened today, an hour ago. I was in class, I got out, and this one is pretty big. This is probably the biggest one so far. Anthony Davis traded to the Washington Wizards. Um, this is it's hilarious, and that's honestly the way to describe it. Because for the Mavericks' perspective, they essentially gave up Luka Doncic for nothing. So I'm getting ahead of ourselves here. Let's take a look at the trade itself. Anthony Davis, uh, D'Angelo Russell, Dante Exum, and Jalen Hardy. So that's four players. Davis and Russell are good players. Anthony Davis, when healthy, is a great player, one of the league's best. D'Angelo Russell, probably past his prime, but he's still a veteran, good point guard. And so the Wizards basically got two good players in this deal. The Wizards sent Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malachi Branham, and Marvin Bagley the third. Those are the players they sent. No offense to them, nobodies. Two first round draft picks and three second rounders. Now, the two first round picks are what makes this deal so hilarious for the Mavericks, for in general. The two first round picks that the Wizards sent to the Mavericks are not their own. So that's great for the Wizards because they get to keep all of their picks, which, at least for the future, are going to be very high picks considering they're not very good right now. But the two picks they sent are the Thunder's first round pick from this upcoming draft, which will be seemingly like either 28, 26, 28, or 30. And there's a great chance it could be 28 or 30. And then the Warriors protected first round pick in 2030. So both of these picks are protected, I believe. I know the Warriors one is for sure, but the Thunder, that pick is basically a second rounder. I mean, the difference in the first round and the second round in terms of where that pick is will be like either three or no picks. So that's not a very highly valued pick. The Warriors pick, and this is the really interesting one, it's a 2030 pick. And I know the Warriors. That's my basketball team. I know that unless we trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo in the next, 24 hours, then that pick is going to be a top 20 pick. It might be a top 10 pick, okay? It's going to be high because we're not going to be that good. That's just the reality of the situation. If that pick lands in the top 20, the Mavericks don't get it. We keep that pick. The Warriors keep that pick. And if everything goes as it is right now, barring a Giannis trade or something crazy like that, the Warriors are going to keep that pick, and the Mavericks aren't going to get anything with that. So that's what makes it so funny to me is the Mavericks basically gave up Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell for one first round pick and just a 3 second rounders. That's barely anything. I just said that Jaren Jackson Jr. went for 3 high firsts. Anthony Davis, when healthy, is better than Triple J, and he went for one first round pick. And if you backtrack and look at how the Mavericks acquired Anthony Davis, the Mavs traded Luka Doncic for genuinely nothing. Okay? Nothing. All the Mavs got back for Luka were a handful of firsts, and that's it. That's it. They got nothing back. And it just continues to become worse and worse for Dallas. They are in an awful position. They lucked into Cooper Flag. Could you imagine if they didn't have Flag? They'd be probably the worst spot in the NBA right now. It is unreal. Yeah. For the Mavericks perspective, I don't know what the heck they're doing. It's just too funny, man. For the Wizards, this could work out for them. They're not contending right now. They have Trae Young. They have Sar, and it was the first overall pick from last year. They have some young talent. I just don't. It could come together. It could work for them, but the Eastern Conference, I don't think they would be able to compete with unless Anthony Davis comes back healthy and plays well. It's a, it's kind of the same thing for the Jazz. How the Wizards just did this trade because they could, and they gave up basically nothing for Anthony Davis. If they had to give up a lot, they probably would not have done that. But just why not? Why not get a premium center for essentially one first round pick that isn't even theirs? So I think it's a great deal for the Wizards just in terms of value. And it's like, why not? Why not do it, right? It's like paying $5 for I don't know, a broken Xbox, one that doesn't turn on all the time. But if it does turn on, then it runs fabulously. Um, it's too funny. There was another trade. Jared McCain traded to the Thunder for 4 picks. One is a first from the Rockets, and then 3 second rounders. This has potential to be good for the Thunder. I mean, Jared McCain is a good player. He was a good player last year in his rookie year. This year he's not been as good. The 76ers got some picks. McCain wasn't really in the rotation that much, so it's like, might as well. But this could definitely work out well for the Thunder. And the Sixers just weren't using him, so why not trade him? That's the last trade that happened. That was a big one. The deadline is on Thursday at noon Pacific. There definitely could still be some trades that are happening. Jonathan Kuminga still on the board. Giannis Antetokounmpo still on the board. Both very prevalent to the Warriors. We'll see how it goes. We'll stay basketball. We got through all those. There's so many trades that happen. I mean, I didn't even mention all of them. And another one that's even crazier could still happen. We'll keep our eyes peeled. The Warriors played last night, lost 113-94 to the 76ers. The thing about the Warriors that's really interesting, ever since the Jimmy Butler trade or injury, they were 2-5, and a lot of the time what happens is the Warriors are in the game at halftime. They have it single digits, and then second half they just run out of gas, and that's all I have to say about it. Steph Curry didn't play. Oh well. So for the remainder of our time here today, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. Okay, I really want to continue to get into this because there's so much happening, especially with the basketball. we got to continue to ramp up to the Super Bowl. We're only 4 days. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 4 days away and some change from the Super Bowl. So today we'll just keep it light again before we dive into it deeper tomorrow. But we'll talk about the strengths and weaknesses of these teams. So we'll start with the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, and their strength, in my opinion, is the defense. Okay, and more specifically, I guess just all of it. I mean, their secondary is very good, but I really think that D line is the key to this game. And I think it might not necessarily is their biggest strength, but I mean it very well could be. That whole defense is very good, but the D line is going to have such an impact on this game. If you consider Drake May was sacked 5 times in each of the playoff games the Patriots have played this year. They went against some very good D lines, to be fair, and the Seahawks are right up there with some of the D lines that they faced. Chargers, Texans, Broncos. Seahawks are basically almost, maybe even as good as those three D lines. And I think they're going to have a huge impact on this game. If you can't run the ball, maybe pressure the quarterback, Drake May could be running for his life. That could be big in this game. I think the biggest strength for the Seahawks in this specific game is their D line. More specifically on the D line, the pass rush. If they can get home, it's going to be a nightmare for the Patriots throwing the football. So the Seahawks D line is their biggest strength. Now, in the past couple of weeks, I would have said their biggest weakness is Sam Darnold's clutch factor, but he has completely changed that narrative. And granted, there is still time for the narrative to be changed the other way again. If he chokes in this game, well, they're going to start bringing up the allegations again. But as of right now, Sam Darnold is apparently a clutch quarterback. So I don't think that that's the biggest weakness. The biggest weakness, I mean, shoot, do they have one? I mean, I'm not really sure what their biggest weakness would be. I mean, they're strong in all facets of the game. I mean, really, they are a very, very good team. Um, I don't know. A trade just went down. It's not the biggest one. I'll mention it when we get to the end. That's why I got distracted. Biggest weakness? I don't know. I guess we'll say the Seahawks. I'm honestly, I really can't come up with one. Do they even have? They're very strong in every aspect of the game. The weakest part, I guess you say pass offense, but that's really not fair to say. Um, I don't know. Say apart from Jackson Smith and Jigba, their wide receiver room is maybe a little bit lacking. I mean, they have Cup, who's very good. They have Rashid. Those are two okay receivers. Shaheed is a very good kick returner and punt returner. But I mean, if the Patriots can match up Christian Gonzalez with Jackson Smith and Jigba and force Sam Darnold to throw to some other players, I don't know. You might see not the same success in the Seahawks passing offense. So I guess we'll go with that. The the lack of receiver depth. I guess I don't know. I'm reaching here. That's a definite reach. Um, yeah, that's a reach. Oh well. We'll go to the Patriots now. And for the Patriots, I say the biggest weakness is probably the offensive line, and that matches up with the Seahawks' strength for this game, especially. That line is hurt. First of all, that line is hurt, and um, the Seahawks D line is very good. So, like I said, 5 sacks in each of the first 3 playoff games for the Patriots. They got to be able to protect Drake May, who is inexperienced and hasn't really. It's not fair to say he hasn't had to do anything, but he hasn't been put in a real pressure cooker situation yet. We'll see how it goes. The same questions about Sam Darnold that we've been saying all year can be directed towards Drake May for this game. Um, but yeah, I think it's gonna be the O line. They are very good at running the football and throwing the football, but I mean they're actually 12th in passing yards per game in the playoffs. So in terms of rushing yards, though, let's pull that up. Fourth. So probably the pass protection of the Patriots. It's just the D line is they're getting home and they're forcing Drake May to check it down. That could be contributing to the limited amount of passing yards. So yeah, that's I'll say the pass protection for the Patriots. Now their biggest strength, they have a lot of them. Okay, and the defense they're going up against is very good. The strength probably would be the efficiency of the offense. Now, if you run into a absolute buzzsaw, that is going to affect your ability to move the football. But they are first in yards per play, at least in the regular season. They're actually 10th in the playoffs. So for regular season wise, you'd want to say their efficiency, but the pressure gets home. That's rough. For the playoff wise, the strength has definitely been the defense. I mean, they are first in points allowed per game in the playoffs. The next, they have 8.67. The next closest team is the Chargers with 16, who've only played one game. It was against the Patriots. Um, I mean, they are first in rushing yards allowed per game. They are third in passing yards allowed per game. They are third in sacks. They actually have the most sacks, but just in terms of games played, they have the most sacks this postseason. So yeah, I'm gonna say the Patriots defense is the strength. They have just been flying around all over the field, and they've been making stops. They granted have not been going up against the best offenses. Justin Herbert, they terrorized him with their D line. CJ Stroud, turnover machine, and then Stidham and the Broncos, the snow. But they also held him in check before that. So I say the Patriots' biggest strength is the defense. They are a very good defense, and in the postseason, they have turned it up to another level. So the Seahawks' biggest strength is their D line. The Patriots' biggest strength is the defense in general, and we'll go with defensive efficiency for the Patriots. They are very good at that. So let's get to that trade that just happened. The Bulls traded Mike Conley and Kobe White to the Hornets. Mike Conley got traded to the Bulls from the Timberwolves in a 3-player deal. So this is the second time he's been traded in 24 hours. So he's a Hornet now. Colin Sexton goes to the Bulls. The Bulls have a ton of guards. I mean, really. Kobe White and Colin Sexton are two high picks. Sexton, he was a Cav, and then he went to the Jazz in the Mitchell trade, and um, then went to the Hornets. And now he's a Bull. So Hornets love their guards, and I mean the Bulls love their guards. For the Hornets, they also got two guards. Um, I don't know who wins this trade. We'll have to see. My voice is going. It's almost gone. So we'll just say this: the Sharks play tonight. Hang on, notification. Oh boy, man, this is a different type of trade. Okay, this is a hockey trade. Oh no. This is an instant reaction. Artemi Panarin has been traded to the Los Angeles Kings for Liam Greentree and a third round pick. I wasn't the biggest hockey fan before Celebrini. I mean, I definitely knew about hockey. I was definitely like a Sharks fan, but I wasn't involved in everything else that was I watched the Sharks. I wasn't watching everything else that was going on before this year pretty much. I know who Panarin is from before this year. He is a great player, okay? And oh my gosh. He went to the Kings of all teams. Oh my gosh. That's that's a good trade for the Kings. Um oh no, that's scary, man. The Kings got better. I like this deal a lot for the Kings. Now, granted, I'm not exactly sure who they have on their roster. Um, but Panarin is probably going to become their best player. I know the Kings are good. They are ahead of us in the standings, obviously. They are. They have 60 points. And they might be ninth actually, but this makes them better. The Kings just got better, trading for Artemi Panarin from the New York Rangers. He's a great player, the bread man. Um, the Kings just got better, and as a Sharks fan, that scares me very much. So that was the instant reaction. Um, that's the second time we had an instant reaction. I'm just while recording the show. My voice is going, so we'll make one last point, unless the Giannis gets traded or something, which is probably going to happen, considering what's happened so far. Uh, the Sharks played the best team in the NHL tonight, the Colorado Avalanche. The Sharks have gone into a tailspin after losing to the Oilers, have been playing awful hockey, and the whole, not necessarily the premise, but the aspect of this show that makes it unique from other shows that we always try and keep it very positive. We always talk about people in a positive light. We don't hate on anybody. We respect everybody. We just keep it very positive, trying to have good vibes. With that being said, I think the Sharks have zero chance in this game. Just considering the way they've been playing and the way the Avalanche have been all year. Now, granted, as of late, they haven't been as strong, but from the first part of the season, they looked like the runaway favorite to win it all. And the Sharks were very good, were playing very well. We've been playing horrible as of late. We lost to two mediocre teams in the Flames and the Blackhawks, and now we're going up against the best of the best in the Avs. I Unfortunately, it pains me to say this, the Sharks have no chance to win this game unless Macklin Celebrini scores a 5 point hat trick. But based on how he's been playing recently, I don't see that happening. So while it is unfortunate, this is our last game before the Olympic break. You'd love to end on a good note. I just can't see that happening. Now, I wouldn't mind it at all if I were to be completely wrong on this. I will happily eat my words tomorrow, but I just don't see that happening. So, Sharks tonight against the Avs. My voice is going. I need to get water, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.